The Summoning at Sovereign Keep. The mist left behind by Mr. Wizard had barely cleared from the courtyard of the Sovereign Keep when Alex Valle made his move. He didn't send text messages or encrypted signals. He sent out the call through the old-school arcade wire, a direct, mandatory summons to every domain lord, brawler, and enforcer across the Southern California territory. From Long Beach to West Covina, from the Santa Ana line straight up to the borders of LA, the word went out: gather at the Stanton Coliseum. The packed Coliseum. By midnight, the massive, neon-lit floor of the Stanton Coliseum was packed to the gills. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a broadsword. In the center ring stood Mr. Power and Deathwish, arms crossed and glaring daggers across the floor at Duck Dew and Clockwork, who stood flanked by their shadow enforcers. Minor scuffles broke out in the bleachers as rival local crews bumped shoulders, trading insults and flashing hostile energy cores. If Duck so much as breathes on my perimeter wire, I'm taking his head before the war even starts, Mr. Power growled, his knuckles flaring with volatile golden heat. Try it, Power, Duck Dew hissed back, his shadow traps sinking a fraction of an inch into the concrete floor, ready to snap. You couldn't clear my block when you had the chance. Before a full-scale riot could erupt on the arena floor, the heavy iron gates at the apex of the stage groaned open. Alex Valle stepped out into the blinding spotlight. He wore no armor, but the crushing, suffocating weight of his sanctified neutral aura slammed down over the entire Coliseum instantly. The golden heat in Power's hands fizzled out. The shadow traps beneath Duck Dew's feet snapped shut, neutralized. Every sound in the arena died. Thousands of brawlers locked their eyes on the king. The king's decree. Valle walked slowly to the edge of the platform, resting his hands on the steel railing. He looked out over the sea of volatile, angry faces, his people. Look at you, Valle's voice echoed off the concrete walls, cold, steady, and carrying absolute command. Brawling in the alleys, stealing territory 2 blocks away from each other, throwing fireballs over petty grudges. Valle pointed a finger down at the center ring, right between Power and Duck Dew. I called you all here tonight because Mr. Wizard just brought me the news, Valle announced, his voice rising in volume, cutting straight through the dead silence. A war is coming. A war of the world. NorCal is massing an army of ironclad turtles out of Sunnyvale, and the East Coast Syndicate is loading up in New York to roll right over our borders. A low murmur rippled through the crowd. They aren't coming down here to negotiate territory, Valle continued, his eyes scanning the packed bleachers. They're coming to wipe SoCal off the map. They've spent months recording our matches, stealing our frame data, and building custom counters just to break us. Valle slammed his hand down on the railing. So I'm laying down the law right here, right now. Every piece of bullshit you've got with each other, every turf war, every grudge, every petty rivalry, stops tonight. Do you hear me? It doesn't mean shit. It's all absolute bullshit compared to what's coming. Mr. Power stared up at the stage, his fiery posture cooling as the reality of Valle's words set in. Across the floor, Duck Dew slowly untensed his hands, letting his shadow traps dissolve completely. We ride or die for each other, Valle declared, his tone shifting into a fierce, unifying conviction. If we tear each other apart over street corners, there won't be anyone left standing to defend the kingdom. But if we stand together, we show them what real SoCal execution looks like. Valle swept his gaze across the entire Coliseum, locking eyes with his army. They want a war? We'll give them a massacre. Lock it in. We march north at dawn. The entire Coliseum erupted. Tens of thousands of brawlers roared in unison, stomping their feet and raising their fists toward the roof. The internal squabbles were gone. SoCal was locked, loaded, and united for war.